What's up, YouTubers? Last time I was here, I did a whole video on Proverbs, and it didn't even go all the way. So we'll see. We'll see if this time it actually goes through. Proverbs chapter 19. Just downed what I told you guys at Chipotle. My suggestion: eat half of your Chipotle, bring half of your Chipotle to Cane's, get about 5 chicken tenders, and then 1 cane sauce, and then mix the Cane's chicken with your leftover Chipotle, and in my opinion, you'll be delightfully satisfied. Also, just got done doing arm day at the gym. Make sure you get your creatine in you. This stuff is super good for you. First form creatine, micronized monohydrate. You want to make sure you're putting that in your body if you want to grow the right way. So, just like we want to grow our bodies and have lots of muscle, we also want to grow our souls and have lots of wisdom. So, follow along with me in Proverbs 19 from the King James Bible. Better is the poor that walketh in his integrity than he that is perverse in his lips and is a fool. So it's better to be poor and walk with integrity than to obviously be somebody who's perverse and is just a fool. So, yeah, if you don't have lots of riches, that doesn't mean that you're a worthless person. Having integrity, whether you be rich or poor, white, black, or brown, matters. Being somebody of integritous morals is good. Also, that the soul be without knowledge, it is not good. And he that hasteneth with his feet sinneth. So if you're in a hurry all the time and you're just trying to get from one place to the other, there's something about that. Somebody who's in a hurry, usually, there's sin to that. If you're always in a hurry, there's probably something that you haven't confessed to the Lord, or a sin that you're delighting in that makes you go fast and makes you in a hurry. The foolishness of a man preventeth his way, or perverteth his way, and his heart fretteth against the Lord. So a foolish man usually fights against God in his words or in his mouth. You can see it in the way that he speaks. A lot of times a fool will say God's name in vain, and they just don't even care. They don't even respect the fact that God made them in his image and loves them dearly. So yeah, the foolishness of a man perverteth his way, and his heart fretteth. So what does it mean to fret? It means to be fussy, to be angry, to fight against. So to fret means to fight against the Lord. Wealth maketh many friends, but the poor is separated from his neighbor. So wealth gives you favor amongst many people. A false witness shall not be unpunished, and he that speaketh lies shall not escape. So obviously, in today's justice system, a lot of evil people get away with evil. In God's system, they won't in the end. Eventually their soul will come to judgment, and they will either be given mercy or they will be burning alive forever in the lake of fire. God will have his day of justice. Just because people vote in wickedness doesn't make it right. And eventually God will avenge his people, and God will correct this world. Many will entreat the favor of the prince, and every man is a friend to him that giveth gifts. So, what does it mean to entreat the favor of a prince? The prince is the son of the king, and the king has royal power. And so, to entreat the favor of a prince means to seek, basically, to seek grace amongst the royalty. And every man is a friend to him that giveth gifts. So somebody who gives gifts obviously is seeking friendship, is seeking favor to whomever they're giving that gift to. What's the greatest gift you've ever received? Other than faith in Jesus, for all you Christians out there, what's the actual greatest tangible gift somebody has ever given you? Something equivalent to $10,000 or less? Have you guys ever received a brand new car from somebody who loves you, and it's a pretty awesome gift to get. Why do you think they gave that to you? So what was the gift, and why do you think they gave it to you? And what did it do for you? All the brethren of the poor do hate him. How much more do his friends go far from him? He pursueth them with words, yet they are wanting to him. He that getteth wisdom loveth his own soul. So all the brethren of the poor, like, think about this. I have a lot of poor friends in Pakistan, in Liberia, in countries that are severely oppressed because of, the tyranny of people that don't believe this book. This book is the Holy Bible. We have freedom of speech in this country. It was given to us by our forefathers, those who came before us. Freedom of speech is one of the greatest things that God has gifted to this world. Well, my poor friends live in countries that, this word is actually illegal in their country. Like, think about that, so why are poor people or poor brethren hated? One, because they're needy, and it's hard to always be giving to somebody that's needy. It means that you're sacrificing something that could be yours, but you're giving it to somebody else. How much more do his friends go far from him? He pursueth them with words, yet they are wanting to him. Poor people need, and God actually loves the poor because he can satisfy the needs of the poor. People here on earth, they don't want to give to the poor because they know it's giving more to them and less for them. People's nature is selfish. Human nature is very, very selfish if you recognize your own nature. A lot of people don't even want to help poor people on the street. I saw a guy, his name was Cooper. It's how can you see somebody that is actually in need and not at least give $2 or a little bit more? It's how much lack of love do you have if you can't even give something like that to them? Let alone the actual Christian poor around the world. So it's very wise to actually not ignore this, to actually take care of the poor instead of, doing the opposite of what this proverb is saying. He that getteth wisdom loveth his own soul, and he that keepeth understanding shall find good. So good things will come to those who love wisdom. A false witness shall not be unpunished, and he that speaketh lies shall perish. Delight is not seemly for a fool, much less for a servant to have rule over princes. So this is another one of those mystery proverbs of Solomon. Something I kind of wanted to say. So what do you guys think about the fact that there is going to be a king, and he is going to be Jewish, and he's going to reign over all the nations? I'm obviously Northern European ancestry. A lot of you guys are, African American, North American, some Chinese, and some, Far Eastern Asian countries. But imagine this, one king will rule all nations, all tongues, and all tribes. And his name is Jesus. How do you guys feel about that? Some people hate God and hate Jesus, but the truth still remains. He is going to be King of Kings and Lord over all lords of this earth. But yes, I love how Solomon, this Jewish king from 3,000 years ago, his proverbs are so insightful. Delight is not seemly for a fool. What is truly of delight isn't seemly, means it doesn't win a fool over. A fool is going to continue focusing on his foolish desires. A wise man will focus on what his wise desires lead him to. Much less for a servant to have rule over princes. Now, there's only one time that I can remember in the story of the Bible where a servant ruled over royalty. And that guy's name was Joseph. He ruled over the Egyptian kings, right? He was second in command over all of Egypt. That means he was more powerful than Pharaoh's own son, Joseph. Zaf-Paf-Panea. So, obviously Joseph was a wise servant, and he had rule over all of Egypt. But yes, so it's not, what is truly of delight is not seemly for a fool, much less for a servant to have rule over princes. This is not usually something that happens. Fools don't usually find true delight, and servants don't usually rule over princes. It's a rarity. The discretion of a man deferreth his anger. So discretion, what does it mean to have discretion? The wisdom, the foresight, the knowledge of a man, the understanding of a man deferreth his anger. So he has self-control because of his understanding. And it is his glory to pass over a transgression, or to look over a transgression, to overlook it, to forgive it. There's things that you do and that I do that God hates very, very much. And yet he, because of the grace that he has given us through Jesus Christ, he passes over it. He looks at the cross and he can still look at us and love us. That's an amazing grace, truly. The fact that you've done things worthy of death, that I've done things worthy of death, like I probably shouldn't even be breathing right now for some of the sins I've committed, and yet God can overlook them because of Jesus. Wow. And it is his glory to pass over a transgression. The king's wrath is as the roaring of a lion, but his favor is as the dew upon the grass. So the wrath of a lion when it roars, it means it's hungry, and it's also when a lion roars, it can be heard up to 2 miles away. That lion's roar actually warns every other lion and every other creature in the area, don't mess around. This is my turf. You know what I mean? Like when they start roaring, especially the low guttural roars, any other male lion, either they're like, all right, let's go fight him. And then they see, right? Oh shoot, we should have went over there. You know what I mean? So that roar of a lion is actually a very, very powerful thing. It attracts females, it attracts the right females, and it keeps the other lions at bay. Like I said, they can be heard up to 2 miles. So yes, the king's wrath is as the roaring of a lion, but his favor, his grace, is as dew upon the grass. Dew on the grass gives life to the grass, and obviously therefore life to other creatures. It's like Lion King. When we die, our bodies become the grass, and the antelope eat the grass. You know what I mean? Like when Mufasa is telling Simba, like, you know, the circle of life. I love it. That connection with that verse is pretty powerful, because I loved Lion King. I mean, who didn't? It actually came out the year I was born. That was when Disney was still good. Let me put it that way. Disney's, in my opinion, no longer good as they used to be. Alright. A foolish son is the calamity of his father, and the contentions of a wife are a continual dropping. So having a foolish son is going to cause strife between the dad, and also having a very foolish wife or contentious wife is going to be a continual annoyance. So women, like, just I'm not trying to like attack feminists or anything like that right now. I've done that later. I do that later. I'm talking about wise women. You want to learn how to be peaceful with your man, because when you, honestly, if you want to respect him mostly, like letting him keep his peace is super important, not only for him but for you. Because if he's at peace with you and you're not continually annoying him, that's gonna bless both of you and bless your family. So yeah, no dude wants to bed a woman that's a continual annoyance. Nobody. Even if she's the finest dame on this earth, dude. If she's that kind of girl, you don't want her in your bed. For real. Just telling you. So finding women that can actually keep a king's peace, and a king who can give a queen her peace, is very good. Alright. House and riches are the inheritance of fathers, and a prudent or a foreseeing wife is from the Lord. So, just like dads give inheritances, prudent women are gifts from God. So, fathers can give you great gifts. God, the true God, can give you a very wise wife. That's something from his gifting. Over halfway down. Slothfulness casteth into a deep sleep, and an idle soul shall suffer hunger. Not good to be lazy, right? He that keepeth the commandment keepeth his own soul, but he that despiseth his way shall die. So if you obey the commands, you're protecting your soul. If you disobey the commands, it's like you're about to die. So it's good to be obedient. It's good to abide in the vine. He that hath pity upon the poor lendeth unto the Lord. So here's a full circle one. He that has pity or compassion on the poor lends. It's like funny to me, like, how can you lend to God? God owns everything. But like, think about it. He's saying if you lend to the poor, like, he that hath pity upon the poor lendeth unto the Lord, and that which he hath given will he pay him again. So like, it's like God's in your debt in some senses when you take care of the poor, and God will repay you. Like, think about that. He has some sort of way of repaying you for what you've given. I believe that. I believe that will come true in my life. I've helped a lot of poor people in my life. It's kind of kept me at a lower poverty or a lower status level here in America. Chasten thy son. I know this one very well because of my dad. My dad was a chastener. I hope you had a dad that was a chastener, because if you did, you probably became a decent human being. If you didn't have a dad that whooped your ass or punched you in the face once or twice, you probably became a schmuck. Or you may have become a fool, and I don't want to call you a fool because Jesus said, call no man a fool, right? Like, said not to say that, but yeah. The reason that we discipline is to raise up righteous offspring. Chasten thy son while there is hope, and let not thy soul spare his crying. So just because he cries doesn't mean he's gonna die. If he cries, he's gonna learn a lesson. And I cried quite a bit from my dad. And I learned plenty of great lessons from Frederick Lee Weiss. A man of great wrath shall suffer punishment, for if thou deliver him, yet thou must do it again. So, I also don't believe in over-disciplining your son. You have to discipline with wisdom. You can't overdo it. If you overdo it, it's going to be bad for him and for you. So, there's a fine line between, like, all right, you punished him a good amount, and then you just overdid it, So, what that is, we can maybe talk about in a different video, or you could ask me my opinion. Hear counsel and receive instruction, that thou mayest be wise in thy latter end. If you hear counsel and receive instruction, you'll be wise in the end of your life. It's something you want. There are many devices in a man's heart. Nevertheless, the counsel of the Lord, that shall stand. What would God, right? If you got to sit down and have like a lunch or a dinner with God in this season of your life, what would you think? What do you think right now he would say to you? How would he counsel you? I think that's a really awesome thought. Like, how would God counsel me in this season of my life? Nevertheless, the counsel of the Lord, that shall stand. The desire of a man is his kindness, and a poor man is better than a liar. So what does it mean that I desire kindness? Like, I desire to be kind to people. I desire to be good friends with people. And why do I desire that? Because love is way better than being just a selfish jerk and being lonely, Like, true kindness from Christ, looks like laying your life down for other people, giving more of yourself for their betterment. The fear of the Lord tendeth to life, and he that hath it shall abide satisfied, shall live a satisfied life. That's what we're all kind of seeking. Everybody's seeking satisfaction in different things. Some people seek it in sinful things, other people seek it in righteous things. But the fear of the Lord tendeth to life, and he that hath the fear of God shall live satisfied, shall be satisfied. Right? That's one of the Beatitudes. for they shall be satisfied, is what Jesus said. I think blessed are those who seek hunger and thirst for righteousness, for they shall be satisfied. He shall not be visited with evil. A slothful man hideth his hand in his bosom, and will not so much as bring it to his mouth again. Like, fat people are so lazy, they put their hand in a bowl, and they won't even bring it to their hand, like their mouth. If you really want to be that lazy, you will be the fattest person on this earth, and you'll probably eat yourself into the grave. So, fat and sloth go together. Smite a scorner, and the simple will beware, and reprove one that hath understanding, and you will understand knowledge. You will understand all the more. So physical discipline is definitely biblical. It's good. He that wasteth his father and chaseth away his mother is a son that causeth shame and bringeth reproach. So disrespecting the father and chasing away your mother, like that's a child that just he's a rebel or she's a rebel, and they cause shame and they're not good. Honor is the way of life. Cease, my son, to hear the instruction that causeth to err from the words of knowledge. Cease, my son, to hear the instruction that causeth to err from the words of knowledge. Now listen to this. So there are people actually, like, their whole mantra, their whole vibe, whatever you want to call it, is anti-God. Everything that they do, everything that they say, anti-God. So what Solomon is saying here is, cease, my son, cease to hear that which causeth to err from the words of knowledge. Like, if you hear things that you know aren't God-honoring, shut it off. Shut it up. Silence it. Like, get away from it, because it's not going to lead you to good things. What you listen to, you become. What you look to, you become. What do you want to become? You know, and so, like, what Solomon's saying here is, like, you want to be knowledgeable. You want to be wise. An ungodly witness scorneth judgment, and the mouth of the wicked devoureth iniquity. You know, I was just talking about the eaters of the dead. I know that's kind of a gruesome, like, morbid way to connect scripture to, like, real life, but, like, you know, you're probably pretty wicked if you're killing other tribes and then eating, like, cannibal, like you're going cannibal and eating them after killing them. So, ungodly witnesses scorneth judgment, and the mouth of the wicked devoureth iniquity. Like, evil people just eat sin. They love it. They crave it. It's terrible. Like, it's an awful image. It would be like eating a human being. It's not something pleasant to behold. So people who really love iniquity, they eat it up. It's bad. Last verse. Judgments are prepared for scorners, and stripes for the back of fools. So obviously this is true. Jesus took our stripes for us as Christians. He was beaten severely by the Roman Empire, the Roman government, and Roman soldiers before his crucifixion and resurrection. But this is true even of God. One day God will judge the earth in righteousness through Jesus Christ. And those judgments are prepared for all flesh. And think about it, like, before Jesus Christ comes back, when he returns, every single soul will be judged by God through Jesus. And this is true. Judgments are prepared for scorners, and stripes for the backs of fools. And yeah, you know, there's a reason that God in Revelation shows Jesus ruling with a rod of iron. It's extreme sovereignty. You know, God is the King of Kings. And so, yeah, I hope you enjoyed this section of Proverbs, Proverbs 19. And share other insights with me as well. If you liked certain things that I said about certain Proverbs, feel free to comment. And hopefully when I get back from work in California and potentially Miami, we can start Proverbs chapter 20. Peace to you. What's up, little guys? Yeah.